So, general motor ability hypothesis and specificity of motor ability hypothesis are two interpretations of the relationship between abilities and, well, how they relate to one another. But to discuss that, we need to first go over what a motor ability is. An ability generally refers to a characteristic of a person, sometimes physical, sometimes neuromuscular or neurological, that helps to increase or decrease their performance in a given skill, which is an action with a particular set goal in mind. The idea here is that motor abilities are abilities related to a specific skill or a particular task. The general motor ability hypothesis essentially posits that many motor abilities are similar and can potentially be grouped into global abilities. For example, arm wrestling could potentially involve a certain level of static strength as you grip your opponent's hand, dynamic strength as you attempt to move your and their hand, and even trunk strength as you attempt to keep your body stable. In other words, arm wrestling can be argued to involve many motor abilities which are related enough to, under general motor ability hypothesis, be grouped together. On the other hand, specificity of motor ability hypothesis essentially posits the idea that motor abilities are not necessarily related to one another and can't really be grouped together one another because they're independent. For example, they would say, in this instance, static strength as you grip your opponent's hand and dynamic strength could be separate and could be considered unrelated. Um, Same with trunk strength, and this makes certain manner of strength of sense because all those things technically do refer to different parts of the body, or at least at different parts of the body using different skills at a given time. And this seems at first like in this instance the general motor ability hypothesis would be the most sensible at first. But the thing is that just because certain abilities or motor abilities seem to be very highly related, like different forms of strength, this does not necessarily mean that they are necessarily able to be grouped together and related to one another. For example, reaction time and movement time, or reaction speed and movement speed, are actually not related in spite of the fact that they would also similarly seem like they would be correlative, like strength. It's just not always the case. So there's just two different perspectives of looking at the same thing.